So a discussion point that comes up within this fandom from time to time is Goku a bad dad? And this leads to a lot of infighting within the community, a lot of people making jokes about how Piccolo is Gohan's real dad, a lot of people going, fuck you, Goku's a great dad, you need to shut the fuck up, and just a lot of arguing between people who take this topic a little too seriously. And this topic has kind of come back into discussion recently with the Dragon Ball Super manga, where Vegeta just has this kind of a throwaway line of, you're a brilliant fighter, but you're a horrible father. And no, I mean, I have to really agree with Vegeta on this. Goku's a bad dad. Like, you know, he isn't an abusive dad. He isn't leaving his kids with any kind of mental scarring. You know, well, maybe outside of, you know, throwing Gohan to Cell, like when he was 11 years old or 9 years old. You know, but beyond that, you know, Goku, like I said, he's not like a horribly abusive father, but he is an absentee father. He is never actually there to provide for his children, to teach them things, to be an actual dad. And if you're not going to be a dad, then yeah, you are a bad dad. Just because you show up for dinner every so often, or come home once every 6 months, and maybe go do something with them, doesn't make you a good dad. That is like the bare minimum qualities for being a father. That doesn't make you a good father, it just makes you just kind of a there father. But Goku isn't there for his family. He isn't there to provide for them. He isn't there to teach his kids anything, though not exactly that Goku would be a good teacher, but just having a father figure there in some capacity really does make a difference. But nope, instead of making that little difference to his family, he's off doing what? Training. Because that's all Goku really is as a character from time to time, is just, he's the training guy. He's always training. He's always working towards self-improvement, and that's the problem, is that Goku takes his own self-improvement and puts that before his family. And I can already see the comments coming now about how, you know, it's a Saiyan's desire to train and to get stronger and to fight their warrior race. It's in their DNA. Well, tell that to Vegeta, because Vegeta is a character who is constantly training, but, you know, he's usually always training at home, and he also will train with his son. Like, Trunks will come into his gravity chamber and train. Like, he actually does spend some type of quality time with his kids. And this is Vegeta. You know, the guy who's constantly bringing up Saiyan pride and that need to be a warrior, blah, blah, masculinity, and here he is, still spending time with his children, taking his family to an amusement park, and having Trunks come into his gravity chamber to train. You know, he shares these tiny little quality moments with him. And plus, like I said, he's always training at home. So when it's dinner time, he is there. Whenever he isn't training, he is there at home with his family. When Goku goes off to train, he's like, hey, I'm going to go to Kaio's planet for like, I don't know, 6 months or something. Bye, fams. Or in the case of End of Z, he's like, yeah, family, I know I've only been around not too often, especially now thanks to Super, that's kind of retconned this 10 years of peace thing. But I'm going to go take this brown kid and train with him because apparently he's a little bit more important than you guys. Now, this isn't meant to be some sort of scathing criticism of Goku, like, oh, what a terrible human being he is. Just, he's not a terrible human being. Well, I mean, he's not even a human being. But besides that, he's just not a good dad. He just isn't there to provide for his family. And people can make the arguments of, well, you know, Chi-Chi kind of tricked him into marriage, or he wasn't planning on having kids. But, well, that's the thing, though. He did marry Chi-Chi. He has stayed with Chi-Chi. And he has produced children with Chi-Chi. If some guy accidentally gets a girl knocked up in a one-night stand, we don't then go, oh, well, he didn't mean to have kids, so it's okay if he just doesn't, you know, provide for them whatsoever. We go, man, what a shitbag, he should at least be paying child support. And then I'm sure there's also the counter-argument that, well, Goku's not, you know, really bound by, you know, traditional rules of, you know, what we expect fathers to be because he's a shonen action hero. Which, if that's your argument, then this entire point is moot and you really shouldn't even care about this discussion whatsoever. And I guess another point that could be made that people will probably end up bringing up is that, well, Goku is training so he can defend the world, and really he isn't. Like, Goku has no clue what kind of things are on the horizon. In fact, a lot of things that happen to Goku in his world is because he's constantly training and making himself stronger and making himself the target of things. Hell, pretty much the entirety of what's been going on in Dragon Ball Super has been mostly his fault. From Beer showing up, to the Universe 6 tournament, to Goku Black. A lot of these things have been happening because he's so goddamn powerful. this multiversal tournament, the Tournament of Power, all these things really have been Goku's fault because he is just so goddamn powerful, and he's kind of initiating these events. And honestly, also being the savior of the universe really, I don't think, absolves you of parenthood. I mean, look at Batman. He's, constantly out there saving the universe, saving the multiverse sometimes, or in big crossover events. And where are his kids? Right by his side, in costume. Every day for Batman is Bring Your Child to Work Day. As I said, this isn't meant to be some sort of scathing condemnation of Goku as a character. Really, it's just kind of highlighting that, no, he just isn't, a good parent. Whether or not you think, that's a really bad thing. Like I said, he's an absentee parent. His kids have turned out fine, for the most part. The lack of a father hasn't horribly scarred any of his children, to our knowledge. Like I said, just because, you're not abusive doesn't mean you're a good father. Being an absentee father still makes you a bad father. And I know a lot of people might also throw in that line from the manga comes from Toyotaro, but then again, Toyotaro works directly with Toriyama on a lot of things, it gets a lot of insight from him. And this whole point is even kind of emphasized even in the Super Anime, where Goku brings up, well, what's the big deal? Why do you have to be there for your kid being born? Why can't you just come and train? You're not the one having the baby, because Goku doesn't really have the common sense to understand that, no, you're supposed to be there for your family and be there for the important moments in their lives. As far as, the Piccolo being a better dad than Goku thing, yeah, I'll be honest with you, though it's never been officially stated, I'm pretty sure Goku wasn't there for whenever Pan was born. But I'm pretty fucking sure Piccolo was. So that pretty much wraps up all my little thoughts on this topic. Just kind of wanted to get that out there, because it kind of keeps popping up in my head. I see this argument being thrown around. So yeah, I'll leave it to you guys to argue in the comments section. Is Goku a bad dad? Is Goku a good dad? I don't know. I don't really think he is a good dad. Like I said, I don't think he's a horrible father, but I definitely don't think he is a good father. He's really more of a non-existent father, considering how much he just kind of disappears out of his family's life. As I said, I'm going to leave that shit to you guys in the comments. Have fun with that. Till next time, Zeon, out.